Today, we have an incredible guest and a crazy show.
21 jobs by the time I was 25. Got fired from, I guess, 60, 70% of them. From there, got into my love, which is computer programming. But I had an authority problem because I don't like authority. I don't like bosses. So I kept getting fired from those. But because I was just skilled. I've been programming since I was legit, probably 7 years old, like legit programming. So it's kind of like, that was me. That was my passion from childhood. So getting jobs was not hard because I was skilled for it, but keeping a job was tough. And I kept trying entrepreneurial stuff because I hated having a boss, and failed it pretty well, everything. Pet food door-to-door was my first real sales experience at 17, I guess, where I thrived, where I ranked out all the adults.
Right.
But so I learned a lot of stuff doing that creatively, I guess you can say. Like I learned about qualification, which is still, I believe, skill and scale in sales. Like I go around the tire kickers. I don't bother with them. So being able to identify those potential buyers is something I learned super early. And from there, I just kept trying different businesses, quitting my job or getting fired, a bit of both, trying a business. I was like a full-time cartoonist, just to show you all the different varieties of things I did just to break free from the chains of conformity. And I kept coming back. And then, I don't know, I guess my big breakthrough was when I was 23, I sold a business for like $4 million, a candle business. But here's the dark part of it. One of the dark parts, I give a couple of million to a 23-year-old wild kid, right? So I blew that. I hit kind of my first little rock bottom there. Wow, I'm going too much into detail. I think I am. To sum it all up, I guess I went up and down, a lot of those failures, a lot of those rock bottoms. My ultimate rock bottom, I guess, because people like to hear that stuff, is when my father died. And when that happened, I kind of, there was a combination of things. There was a breakup going on, and all those things hitting me at the same time led me to the ultimate rock bottom, alcohol and drugs. Right. And from there, I lost everything for sure. Ended up being homeless, no car. I didn't even have a car. So I did that for a while, and I bounced back from that with network marketing, believe it or not. And this is about a decade ago almost now.
Okay. So let's break it apart a little bit, because that's a lot.
That was a lot.
And I love that you go into detail, because that's what we're all about. So, okay, so you started with kind of door to door. You know, I've done some door to door stuff too. So door-to-door salesman, you know, you said dog food company, you know, totally get it. Like hustler, I always say hustler. It's in all of us. We all share a lot of the same characteristics as people who have some problems with alcohol or addiction. You can pinpoint it. But I can totally relate to the being unemployable. Like I hated it. I went to school to be a dental hygienist because I thought, go to college, get a degree, do the things. And I did enjoy some of it, but I absolutely sucked at it. Like I was good at what I did, but I hate being in the office. I hated working for somebody. I'm like, can I just leave? Like if somebody cancels, I'm going to go home. Like this is pointless. It's a waste of my time. And I just wasn't employable. Like I didn't want to do it. I didn't get fired from places, but I made sure that I could quit. Like I'm out. Like I just didn't. I wanted something different, and I always had that bug. And it sounds like you did too. You know, you did this, you did that. You had just a variety of freaking jobs or opportunities. But it's so cool when you can look back, like when you look in the rear view and you're like, but look at how all those unique opportunities got you to this one place that those weird skills that you would never think you would use totally make sense in a network marketing company. Let's talk about the other thing though. I want to go into this. Go into detail on this part. $23 million. How did you blow all that money?
4 million, you mean?
Oh, I thought you said 23 million.
No, I was 23 years old.
Oh, 23 years old. I was like, whoa, 4 million still. That's a lot. In millions, it's a lot of money. How did you blow that?
Super easy. I had 2 sports cars. women and alcohol and drugs. That'll do it.
That'll do it quick.
It did it quick. I was 3,000 a day would cut me out for 742 grand a year. Because I'm like, how is this going away so quick? So just my drug consumption, drug and female companionship, just dating is expensive, and with the, how can I say, with the quality of people I was hanging out around with. There we go. That's a good way to put it.
Sure.
3,000 a day was my daily party fee.
Wow.
So that's 742,000 per year. So it took me about 3 years of a lot of fun, but it was super easy to go through. I mean, owning nothing, that's just pissing it all away.
Right.
Yeah.
So you blow that, you don't have anything, like the term no pot to piss in.
Yeah.
And now you're going, okay, so you have a life. So it's very curious because, where I am now, if I lost my lifestyle, I'd be like, whoa, to go backwards. What is that like to go backwards and be actually homeless? I always say I've been homeless, but I did have a car and I had places to bounce. Being really homeless, what happened there?
Well,
where were you?
Well, here's what I can tell you. It's Shylo, right? Am I pronouncing it right?
Yeah, you're pronouncing it right. Yeah.
Okay, so what I did and what I would do now are different because I've learned a lot through the journey. So would you like to know what I would do if I was living in a box right now and I had nothing?
Yes.
Okay. The steps would be this. I would find a network marketing company, number one. Number two, I would just talk to probably 100 people a day, find a Wi-Fi connection and connect with about 100 people a day and just show them the videos and follow up, plug them in. Mm-hmm. Show them the videos, follow up, plug them in, pass them on to my leadership because I wouldn't be leading. This is a little off, but this is how I build. I recruit them. I plug them into my upline. I find an upline that's ready to accept my children. And instead of training them, I'm still recruiting. So it's 100%. I'm about to, that's how I build fast. And that's what I would start with. And then I would work on my online campaign because the way I became my recent breakthrough to going from like just recently in the past 5 years is when I hit my rock bottom, 10 years. But I got into network marketing just like that. I hustled my way to 20 grand a month. I was stuck. So the way I broke out of 20 grand a month was I observed other leaders that all they seemed to be doing was training and doing webinars and doing this stuff. And I'm like, but I can't get in front of a camera. I just couldn't bring myself to it. Mm-hmm. So I learned how to simple placing ads in target markets that would be interested in my product. So I went from talking to people to placing ads. I still do that today. That's what I do. I'm more of an online marketer nowadays.
Right.
So I create campaigns, and then it turned me into a digital asset. So I didn't need to be there. My ads would do it for me. And then that brought me from, did that break 100? That got me to about 60,000 a month just by doing that, because I could scale those ads to a certain point on Facebook without going into details. Facebook has this, I'm going too deep. So I could scale to about 70, 80 grand with ads. There's kind of a limit on Facebook. Right. And then the ultimate to hit $1 million a year, I started branding myself. That was the third step. Mm-hmm. So once I did that and I put my face as like the entry point, then it was easy because there was no resistance in the ads. I'll just give you the formula really quick. It works for all of my campaigns. It's crazy. I do 7 value videos of me saying the value. I don't need to be the expert. I'll look up on Google how to lose 1 pound per day for your first 7 days. I'll kind of script it. I'll do the video. I'll do 7 of those with no agenda on those videos, no call to action. There's a piece of code, it's called an engagement post, where if someone watches 50% of your video, I do 3 seconds actually. If they watch 3 seconds of my video, they fall into an audience, and I keep feeding them those videos. So what I have 7 freebies, non-calls to action.
Yes.
And on video 7, I do a call to action, not to buy my stuff, but to come to a presentation And that presentation is an automated webinar that's built to look live. It kind of catches on their time zones.
Okay.
So when they come up, I'm talking to them like it's live. And in that journey, I get them to buy the product, sign up, and plug in. So that's the process to everything I touch now. I hope that makes sense.
It does make sense. And you know what, even for people, it might be like, whoa, like that just blew me out of the water. It just gives you a perspective of like a little bit of the progress that it happens. Like you don't come into any company or as an entrepreneur and go, I am at $1 million a month. It doesn't work like that. You have to learn the systems and you have to learn the processes that work. And it takes time. Like I always talk about, you know, when people say, well, I'm a millionaire, I'm a 7-figure earner. Well, are you, or have you made that much? There's a very big difference. And I don't put anyone down. Congratulations if you've made 7 figures.
Yeah.
But there's a difference because when I speak to somebody who's making $1 million a month, there is a difference in how they speak. There is a difference in what they do. And there's a couple things that define it. So here's the outside of what you just did. You just talked about nuts and bolts. I'm going to say it comes down to their habits, their experience, because no one I know made it to $1 million a month with zero experience. It just doesn't work. You have to go, you have to do what you did. You got to do the door to door. You got to do the crazy shit, right? You got to do it. Like we don't love it all the time. And I used to do like these weird things for Amazon way back in the day. I knew nothing about computer programming. I'm like, I'm going to do this. And like, I was learning code. I knew nothing what I was doing, but I was trying so hard to make money that it actually taught me a lot. It taught me how to hustle even harder online. And then I learned, okay, that's a great ad, or what do you put up there to get someone's attention and things like that. And then you combined it with the personal brand. So this is the other part of it. And we're talking all business now. We're going to go back into the other stuff, but you got to be your freaking self.
Yeah.
And so what makes you really special and why I really like your content and why you're on here is because when I see anything from you, I'm like, this is real. It's effing hilarious. Or it's very, very relatable. Okay. Yeah. People don't want perfection.
No.
I failed at this for a long time. No. So in my business, in the industry, when I started, I thought I had to dress a certain way, talk a certain way, and do a certain thing to be successful. What I learned about 5 years ago is it wasn't working because what I did is I hit about 20 to 30,000 a month, almost 40. I think it was probably around 40 at the highest.
Nice.
And what happened is, and I was still a good leader, big leader, but I'm like, why can't I get past this?
Yeah.
I wasn't being my freaking self.
Yeah.
I looked impossible. Like people saw me and they're like, I can't do what you do. You look, you're here, you're there, you're crazy. I mean, like nobody wants to do that. They want to see a Mark. They want to see this version of me. And they want to be like, hey, I'm a real shit show, but I guarantee that if I can do it, you can do it. That's what they want to know.
I love it.
Like, that's it, right? Like that's what I want to know. I want to look at someone and go, if he can do it, I can do it. Oh, I was missing it. And I figured it out. So being yourself, experience, and your habits really do define the other parts of that.
I can give you guys a secret about how to hijack somebody's brain. It's actually pretty, use it wisely though, but it's called watch time, watch or listen time. So the way this works is if someone just hears you or sees you for a certain amount of time, whether they like you or not, they become familiar with you. And 25 hours is like the sweet spot. So if someone hears this voice or sees this face, and getting someone's attention is harder than making a high-end big ticket sale. Getting someone to sit through you, anyone, is the hardest thing to do. So if you can get someone to actually sit through you, watching you, you're hijacking them a little bit. So they feel like they know you. I think that's the first thing I would say on the skills, because you could throw me, like Puff Daddy once said, you could throw me naked in the jungle. I'm coming out of there with a chinchilla hat. I got the skills. And this is Puff Daddy. It's too good for me to come up with that one.
I love it. I always, mine that I always quote that might not even apply. It says, switch your style up, watch the money pile up. And
love it.
I love it. Yeah.
So just in a nutshell, with that being said, there's an acronym I use is GAS, G-A-S. And I apply this process to every single thing I do that's new. So for example, I just joined a network marketing company a month ago. And I've been out of network marketing for many years, but I'm back into it because just when I look at shiny objects, I'm that guy. If I can see dollar bills there, y'all, I'm going to take a stab with what I do on that thing. And what I do is just for a little bit of credibility, I jumped in the company, and within 3 weeks, I was #1 in North America right away because I do what I'm about to tell you.
Right.
The GAS acronym. Would you like to hear it? I'll do it super short.
I would love to hear it.
Okay. GAS is the grind. Everything you get into has a different sales process depending on what the product is, depending on how you articulate it. You got to fail a lot to fine tune your pitch. So the same pitch doesn't work for every product or service. I look at the benefits. I'm like, should I highlight that part of the product or this? So what I do is I get on a bunch of calls and I pay attention. What are people excited about? Oh, I closed these sales. I thought that would work, but that didn't work. So I figure it out kind of like stand-up comedians do. They go to like the shitty little comedian clubs, the famous ones, they do that. And they see what rises a laugh and what doesn't before they bring it to the big Netflix special. So they go through, you know what I'm saying, right?
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
So once my grind produces 1 or 2 sales, I have myself something that 99% of people will not have. People look at me because a lot of people know how much I make. It's kind of obvious. I have a university. You just do the math. And they say, he doesn't go in the trenches. I go, I do. They're like, you don't have to. I'm like, but I do. I have to because I don't know the magical script. That's the skill of knowing that I have to go through 100 people to get the gold. That's the skill. So I have to go do it. I can't pay someone to do that. So once I got the grind, I got the pitch. Yeah. I could automate that. So instead of inviting people, so that's the A. The grind is getting the pitch. The A is automating that process of the presentation. Because really my pitch is usually you bring someone, will you take a look at what I'm doing? Mm-hmm. So once I automate that, that's the automation. Then you don't necessarily have to be there. And once you have those two, then you scale. You could scale that automation. And that's how you get rich in pretty well anything.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Make sense?
Yes, it does. I think, you've already dropped like 1 million golden nuggets for people. And I wasn't even expecting that. Like, I was like, we're going to talk about a lot of stuff. We're going to talk about alcohol a little bit. We're going to talk about the crash. Because I've had one and I'll share a little bit about mine if you don't know it. But I mean, we want to hear yours. But it definitely, this is the thing. And when it comes down to being successful, we see too many false stories. What happens is, and I just brought this up the other day, quit taking pictures in a plane when you're not even riding in the plane. It's not your plane. You got these private jets and you took a photo and then you're acting like you're living a life. The other thing is how to get broke quick is acting and doing that lifestyle that you do not have the money for because you're trying to attract people. This is someone like a Marc and someone like a Shylo. When I see that, I am instantly no. I don't want somebody like that. I'm not going to work with somebody like that. I'm talking about like if it was an upline or I was looking for a company. No, you're not attracting those people. You need to attract people who, who see somebody who is relatable that they can actually have a conversation with. It still does come down to relationships. Mm-hmm. Yes, you can recruit and you can pass off, but they bought you. They bought you still. So you are what they're buying. And people need to remember, if you are false, they're buying false and they're going to want their money back very quickly. So stop doing that. So no more false advertising. And I think the industry is shifting because there's a lot of regulations coming down about that. They're really getting picky on advertising your income, all the things. I love that though. You don't need to tell me you're a 7-figure earner. That doesn't impress me. What impresses me is when I see you, how you speak to me, if you listen to me, your presence, you're silly, you know what I mean? Nobody cares. Like everyone's a 7-figure earner in this industry. I'm not trying to be mean, but that's what everyone says.
You ever been on Clubhouse?
Yeah.
I've never seen so many people smelling their own farts than that platform. It's a bragging platform, isn't it?
It is. I had to delete it finally. I couldn't handle the notifications, and it was, you nailed it. You nailed it. Like, I'm not mad about it. You know, I did get a lot of value in the beginning. There was a lot of really cool people that came on, but I just was like, you know what? I don't have time to be here all day to hear the same people. That's not me. And I don't need to toot my own horn and be on there and be like, well, let me tell you what I think, and this is my goal, you know, like I don't need to do that. So, you know, I think what's more important is being in the trenches and being with the team, and it was taking away so much time. It was just so time consuming. I'm like, this isn't valuing me anymore. I have to go. I don't care if, and this isn't mean, but if celebrities came on, it's like, that's cool. But I mean, they still don't care about me, and that's okay. And I don't know anything about them. Okay, so shifting gears, you attracted me, and in a non-sexual way. I'll just say I have a non-sexual attraction to you. I always tell people that. I'm like, I'm attracted to you. I'm non-sexually attracted to you. So I was attracted.
Thanks for the compliment.
You are welcome. No, I think you're great. You're really cool. But what people may not know about you, what I wanted to share a little bit is, I do talk a lot about addiction on here. I talk a lot about hitting bottom, and I talk about my journeys, and I've dealt with some, you know, a lot of stuff over the years. But, you know, I got sober almost a year ago now, and I had a really bad moment.
What's a year? What do you mean? Like, how many months are you right now?
I'm 11 months. I'll be a year on the 6th.
Oh, shit. Congrats, yo.
I know. So I am absolutely so grateful for everything that happened. Even when I hit my bottom, it was the biggest blessing. I had been praying for a while, like, God, please help me. Please. Wow. Because I depended on alcohol so much to get me through everything. Like, oh, I've got stress, I got to drink. Oh, things aren't going good at home, I got to drink. I'll numb it. And it finally got so, like, I was just numbing everything. I hadn't felt anything in so long, and I wasn't able to keep up anymore. So I got a little older.
I wouldn't have thought.
I couldn't keep up with my secret, right? My secret was coming out. And so what happened is, as the little devil popped out publicly, and it made me check myself very hard. Like, if you don't change, you're going to lose everything. And I was. I mean, I was like, I am not proud of myself. Like, this isn't who I am. I take care of myself. I had gained a ton of weight. It's not about weight gain. It wasn't about that. It was just everything. I just was letting myself go. I was like, screw it. I don't care anymore. And it was because I was sad. I was sad. I wasn't dealing with anything. I was just numbing the pain. And sobriety is just incredible. I found you because we share tons of mutual friends. But when I saw that you had become sober, and that I was really started to pay attention. Isn't that funny? Like, I started following you because of TikTok, but then I'm like, wait a minute, this dude is like, think I like this guy. And I kept going because I'm like, nah. And that's where that relationship comes from. So cool. Let's talk about it. So we'll go to the beginning of this podcast when I said, tell me the beginning. How do you think, did your childhood shape you think, into this journey?
Well, let's start here. My relationship with alcohol and drugs, let's start there, because they're two different relationships.
Correct.
My relationship with alcohol is different than what most people advertise. So, and maybe I should say that right now, I love drinking. I absolutely adore it. I miss it terribly still today. I'm having monster drinks, and I did it for fun. So I just want that to be, that was my reason. I did it for fun, but I think we know what it does. With me, it was just not turning me into someone else. It was just brutal. So with that being said, I don't know, what was the question?
So for me, I grew up around it. You shake the tree and there's alcoholics.
Okay. Okay. With me, I think it stemmed from fun, maybe.
Sure.
When I really started going hard was when I sold Dream Candle, because when I sold DreamCandle.com, that was a big windfall for me. Okay, that was a lot of FU money. I'm like, okay. And that was back in 2001. 2000, 2001. I'm 23. And I'm like, I did the math back then, and I was a pretty okay investor. And I'm like, I'm good. I'm good now. And that's where the trap, like I'm good for life. I could do projects I want or not. I could do nothing, actually. I didn't see the slippery slope of, with me, it was the opposite sex. For me, that was my weakness back in the day. And yeah, got me into darker places, and the money started going fast. So that's how it started for me, the fun part and the carefree part, but the actual substance itself is a devil. Like, it takes you over, and that's how, I think that's my entryway into it. And I've never been able to shake it because, because it's been fun. It's been fun, a lot of fun. I was not planning on quitting at all. Like I've never really said I'm going to quit forever. This was not in the plan, actually.
Yeah.
Like I don't think I've once said I'm going to quit forever. I think sometimes I said, I'd like to get my shit together for a couple of months, like, because shit's falling apart a little bit. But alcohol never made me broke. It was drugs. And alcohol was the gateway to drugs.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. So when you say women, did you, women like, I don't know if you care. You said ask you anything. So women like,
yeah, you go for it.
Super high end women that wanted a lot, or you were spending money on them, or just like, where was it? Like, what kind of women, what kind of world were you in?
What would you call it? The social link world, I guess.
Yeah. Okay.
Like, I mean, a dinner date was 2,000 easy, 3,000 jewelry. Just, no, it was like gifts and just spoiling. And
okay.
I kind of got into that world, and then you meet another friend and you meet another friend and you go out with, it's fun. Hey, I mean, even if it was like just a bunch of girlfriends, we go out and pick up the tab. It just adds up. And with me, I was aware. My friends said I was not aware. I was very aware of what I was doing. In other words, they wanted me for my money at the time, because there was a lot of money for a young guy. Right. And I was aware of that. I kind of budgeted for that. So there's another part where it's kind of, well, this is a weird podcast. I'm all down for this though, but yeah. And as the quality went up, and quality, what do I mean by quality? Yeah. I mean, you're an attractive lady.
You know what? I want to hear it, because you know what? It's fun to reach into the mind of somebody at that age with that kind of money. And let's be real. This is how people think. This is what's going on. So heck yeah. So the quality of women.
Yeah.
I mean, are we talking models, actresses?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Exactly. And that's exactly what it was. So it wasn't like they had a menu or a price list, but my observations, because I was really into dating different women at that age. Right. And my observations were pretty clear. And it was it a coincidence? I don't know. No one will ever know. But the more beautiful and the less committal they were, the more I would spend to maintain those relationships. And yes, it's like, but I like just hanging out with you. Okay, I'm going to play the game, but I'm very aware of what's happening, and I'm glad to hang out with you. I mean, people pay me, like I'm glad to pay the toll without it being said. So I knew what's going on, and I love it. I mean, I still do it today. I do once a week. When I say Thursdays, don't bother me. Thursdays is date night. People are like, "Are you seeing someone?" I go, "Well, I am this Thursday."
You know what? I love it though. Let's just talk about it, because this is the real world. Like, I've always been curious, when you get to that high level, you get to high level, and but
I'm high now. But like, I'm high now. Like right now, I'm super high. You were talking about income. I don't want to jump into that. Like, I don't want to do a lateral.
I like this. So you're at a high level right now.
Yeah, like financially, I've never, ever imagined I could have. Like, I've got 6 income streams.
That's incredible.
Some of them are popping so bad, like in a good way.
In a good way, yeah.
That Yeah. So right now I can afford those things. Back then I couldn't. Like dating. Now I can afford them. So it's
Well, you're
different.
fun. You know what I always,
Yeah.
you know what show blew my mind, but I also, it was true. It was a 100% true story, but it blew my mind, but it also gave people a look. And I think for me, it was like, I'm uncomfortable, but I need to see what really goes on, was The Wolf of Wall Street, the
Oh, yeah.
way that was. And I'm like, oh my God, can you believe some of that? But I'm like, it's just crazy money. It's crazy
Yeah.
money. And people are like, I can do anything I want. And it's like,
Yeah.
whoa, where do you draw the line? Right. And
Yeah.
that movie really, not that it opened my eyes. I mean, I know what goes on. I'm just saying, like, I don't think it's a different world. You get to this level and it is a different world, and you got to keep your morals too. Like, I feel like that, like people lose themselves so quickly.
Yeah.
And, money, if you're a good person, money's going to keep you a great person, right? Good, great. If you're a bad person, it's going to make you a worse person. It's just the way it is. It doesn't make you good or bad. It just accentuates what you are. And, if you like women, go wine and dine them. That's fine. But you're honest about it, and I think that's okay too. I think right now we're in such a transparent world, like the dating world. I laugh at all my girlfriends and stuff. They're like, it's so different. Now we just send everything first. And now everyone sees everyone and like, okay, cool. Like dating just became like this crazy photo. Like everyone's got a little file on their phone, shoot it over. Oh, you want to see who I am? Here's my file of photos.
Crazy. It's a crazy world.
It's so crazy. I love this show right now. This is awesome that we're talking about this.
You and I can control our, we can control our, well, I don't know. I think I can speak for you. We can control, I strongly believe, our bad habits.
Yes.
More than someone who hasn't hit that bottom. Like, we have something very in common here. You're 11 months in on no alcohol.
Right.
I'm not done. I didn't quit forever. By the way, for the record, everyone watching, this is 4 right now. I'm doing what's called a detox, a 1-year detox. People are like, oh, good, wait till you hit 10 years of alcohol. I'm like, no, you're talking to the wrong guy. I'm doing a complete detox.
Yeah.
So then when I come back, believe me, I'm counting the days. I'm strategically going to, my first drink will be on the Joe Rogan show, by the way, Joe, if you're watching. That's the goal. But our level of control, because I should speak for myself, my level of control with dating, for example,
sure,
I'm at a professional level on how it works now, because I started doing it in a sloppy manner when I was in my 20s, and I've had a lot of trials and errors along the way. So that's just an example of that. Just like any other thing that in life I would like to moderate at some point. Not drugs, though. That's the only thing I will never touch again. But all the other little stuff, it can be, for me, it can be controlled.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I'm 50 years old. I've seen a lot. I've experienced a lot throughout the years.
Yeah, you have, but you have a great personality about it. And you know what? This is what's important about talking like this and just being completely open. Like the best way to be, because people need to hear these experiences. And if you can get, if you can help somebody, even with just one story or one little thing, you did your job as a human. Like that's what we're here for. We're here to screw up. We're here to fall. We're here to get back up. And then we're here to share the suck. We're here to share the horrible things. Yeah. We're here to share, if you want to date a model, here's what you need to do. If you want to, I'm teasing, but it's serious.
It's a good thing, guys. Guys, it's a good thing what I'm doing. I'm living the life of my dreams right now. But, gentlemen, you have to make a lot of money here. I don't want to get all Grant Cardone here, but Cardone. Grant Cardone. That was kind of funny. I
get to share a stage with his wife soon. So
no way.
I'll tell Elena we call her Cardone. They sound like they're in the mob. Well, hi, we just made you a part of the mob.
It's because money is like the only thing. You can, I'm speaking my opinions, right? My insights, my hypotheses, my opinions, and my perspectives. These are my thoughts. So but I know I'm right. Money, you got to get that right immediately. Like that's the first thing you got to get right, in my opinion. And I know I'm right. So learn to sell something, sell it well, learn to automate the advertising to that thing, and then learn to scale it on native ads. Because you could scale to the moon. You can have $1 million days. We're doing the same work you would do as if you were doing Wolf of Wall Street calls. Same thing. $1 million days. I'm telling you, it's scale. You're playing with numbers.
Yeah.
So once you learn that on one thing, bust your ass learning exactly what I said. Rewind the video. Find a product or a service. Learn to sell it by making 100 calls. Once you do that, make a series of 7 videos. Put them in ads, Facebook ads, 7 free values that have nothing to do with the product that provide value in that niche with your face on it. Collect them in a custom audience in a pixel. Every 7 videos, very simple. You upload 7 videos. Number 8 is an invitation to a webinar. Go to an automated webinar platform like Webinar Jam or something. Set up a recorded webinar that looks live. In your webinar, have a button that goes to sign up to your MLM. Start building that. And then once you start making $100,000 a month, go to native. I'm giving it all just so it's there and people could rewind it. Once you start getting about 100,000 per month in income, that's a 7-figure income. Don't stop. Move over to what's called native ads, NATIVE. Look into that, because then you could take that 100,000 per month and scale it to $1 million a month or more. There you go. So once you have your money right, here's what happens. You can think. You can think. Because if you have to worry about bills, I just sold my last car. I'm selling everything I have so that I don't have clutter in my head. Sure. When you don't have anything, and also I'll keep this short, but this is extremely important for me, having a free brain to think creatively. If I have bills, if I have a girlfriend, if I have kids, no offense to all y'all with those things, but they require resources in your brain. So once you make that money, well, even if you have kids, if you're making a lot of money, no, I can't talk on that because I'm that free. My mind is that free. So if you make a lot of money, you have time to see what your true potential is. If you're worried about paying the next thing, your creative faculties are like there's a stick in those spokes. So I would say what I just said, anybody, once you do it once on one product, you are Puff Daddy naked in that jungle coming out with a chinchilla hat. You've got the skills. Okay.
Oh my God, that's so true. Like Nelly, what's the point of all that money if you ain't banging the models? I'm going to say the nice word. He uses a different word. So I think you hit a hot button here.
Banging the models.
He says a different word. We'll keep it out. We'll keep it out. Fucking the models, basically, is what he says. So, okay. You hit a hot button for a lot of people because you said money is important. And that drives people crazy because people who struggle with money, if you say money is so important, you just triggered them. And now I'm not putting that down. When we're struggling, I've gone through hard times too. I haven't, I've gotten to incredible places in my career as well. We both have incredible businesses, but I've been like this too. I have seen awesome and I've seen holy, I have to start over. You got to hustle. When I had to start over and over again is because I wasn't taking care of my money right. I wasn't doing my taxes right. I was scrambled. I wasn't organized. I didn't know where my money was going. And this year I said no more. Yeah. And I got my stuff on track. And as the year continues, it's going to get better and better. Here's the deal. You can make a lot of money, but that money can go just as fast. And I've done it. Like I've blown money. And I'm like, wow, I've got nothing. And, if you really look at what you're spending, and I'm like, I don't have anything. Yeah. Hopefully I had an experience. I hope it was fun. I mean, that's the thing. Yeah. And I think you hit a really hot topic. Like, he is right. Now, no one's saying you can't have kids, but I'm going to tell you, the more money you make, and this is just something, you don't have to make money to be happy. But what you're saying is, if you want to live a certain lifestyle, you need to have enough money beyond that lifestyle to actually maintain it. You can't just be right there and sit
Absolutely.
at that, because your mind will go crazy. You're chasing. And when you're constantly chasing, you're not creative. And I am best when I'm creative. When I can just go, I've got no issues. I can just be me. I am awesome. I am the best version. I'm fun. I'm flying high. I'm making those Wolf of Wall Street calls and landing the deals. And it's like, it's so true though. And I think it's important for people to hear the truth. And I don't like sugarcoating, and you don't. And this is, honestly, you just became probably one of my favorite shows, because you just say it like it is, but it's true.
Yeah.
And the people don't always love the truth, but guess what? It's not about your feelings. It's about the facts.
Yeah. And there's something that's really important here that people should know. I've reached a level of wealth where I don't care what people think, and I no longer need people. This is important, whoever's watching. And I said that to somebody today. Learn what I'm putting down. When I throw a skill, pick it up and apply it to your life. But don't do me, because I don't give a F what people think, because I have FU money now, and all of my income, all of it, comes from things that people have no idea. It's a fat loss tonic ad on Microsoft website, news site, that will make me like, I don't know, $100,000 a month. Like those ads that you don't see. My income doesn't come from what people think of me anymore, but it used to. And it was super important for me to have a very polished, somewhat authentic, but polished persona.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Polished is a great word, because I relate to that, because for a long time, everything mattered on what people thought, and it was just everywhere. Now I still struggle with it with certain people, because there's people you love and respect, and you're like, gosh, I don't want to disappoint them. But when it comes down to the masses, something changed in me, and it's happened over this entire year. I turned 40. I got sober. My business took off. When I got sober, everything I knew if I would stop drinking happened. I'm like, if I didn't drink, my business got better. My relationships got better. I was better. I wasn't afraid that I couldn't show up, right?
Yeah.
I started showing up for people, and I started listening more. I started to freaking own all my stuff, not just the stuff people knew, all the stuff, the deep dark stuff. And I stopped. I'm like, fuck it. I don't care. Like, I really don't. Like, I want people to, I'm a good person, but if somebody doesn't like me, that's okay. And I had to be okay with that. Now I am. But there's a way to be polished about it. If they're not paying your bills, it really doesn't matter. But you know what? Teach their own. Like, it's really good to hear this is like life lessons right here. And this is what happens with experience, people. It comes back to experience. You don't see a millionaire that got it because they won the lottery. What happens to everyone that usually wins the lottery? How fast is it gone? Because they didn't earn it, and they didn't go through the ring. They didn't get in the ring to earn it, so they don't know how they earned it, because they didn't. If you go through like they say, the first million takes the longest. Second million is like that. It's so true. My first million took 3.5 years in my business previous. My second million, half that time. My third million, even shorter. Like, isn't that wild? It just was boom. It was like boom, and then boom, 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 boom. It's so crazy.
It's crazy.
I know.
I want to spin my screen and show you some stuff, but it's crazy how when you learn to replicate yourself in digital format, really, and use the tools that are out there to whatever is working whatever you're doing as a human being. If you can replicate that in digital format, the whole world sees it, and you scale it, it gets ridiculous. It gets ridiculous. And something about different interests too. I don't want to be a role model, because I'm not a good role model. It's just, sometimes people say, I don't want to be like you. I don't want you to be like me.
Right.
That's important too, because what I do, it gets money, and to do what you want to do. Everyone has different interests, right? Mm-hmm. So it's just like, my lifestyle is not traditional, and it's what the things I do are what interests me. And I've never done that before in my whole life. I thought certain things would make me happy, for sure, because it's just
Right.
society's norm. I lived with a girl before, beautiful marriage thing in love. It was beautiful. I wasn't married, but it was that. I mean, we had a house, we had the dog,
You did all the things. You had all the things.
yeah, and it was beautiful. I mean, we ended it because I said, "Look, this ain't gonna work. It ain't me." And it's just that experience was a moment in my life that I'm glad I had. 4 beautiful years in a relationship. It was a beautiful thing, but it also made me realize that, like, if it were to happen, she was the girl for sure.
Right.
They would like, that was the one. I found my soulmate. Even to this day, she's the one. Like everyone I've met afterwards, I'm like, I'm so glad I was one of the lucky ones that found my soulmate. Her name was Stephanie. It was a beautiful 4 years. And when it ended, it was hard, but I knew I thought it may have been the right decision because I just had so many human wants and needs. I'm like, this ain't right. I shouldn't be wanting that or that.
Mm-hmm.
Like
the fact that you're even saying that is
mm-hmm.
huge. Like you're at like that is respectable beyond respectable because many people don't, and they sit in it. Either they sit in it, they're miserable, or they sit in it and they act on those things and they ruin it. And it's like, be honest, because for her too. Like if you love somebody, be honest and just let him go.
Check it out.
It's important. It's so important.
Check it out. When she went, when she said, "Is it really not going to work?" I go, "Hon, I can't do it. I've got like the wandering eye, and it's just, it's not in my bloodline or something."
It would destroy her. She would be miserable.
Yeah, and then we remained friends afterwards for a while, and I would interview her guy friend. She goes, "We're kind of liking him," and then I would ask her. I'd be like, "I don't know. What does he do? Let's see here. Is he a good fit for you?" So I kind of like, well, you know, I was in jail for a while. I don't know if you know that. I spent some time inside. I got a tough side. So I kind of did my due diligence, and it was, I got her. I allowed her to date a guy. Just kidding. But the fact that she got a good match, hardworking construction guy, loved her to death. And that's what mattered to me. The fact that happened, 2 beautiful kids now, I'm like, beautiful. That transition was amazing. Like, you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And then when I was single, I was like, holy shit, man. All my life, this is what it's about. But I had to integrate to the dating upfront. Like the way I date is different. It's upfront communities of busy women who want the same thing as me, which is a release from the stress, go out, have fun, 0 commitment. If there's a commitment, we're ending this right now, no hard feelings. Because that happens, right? That just happens. If I don't date the same girl I don't date the same person more than once, usually, maybe 2 or 3 times. I like to keep that moving because it's like watch time in videos. The more I hang around with the same person and date the same person for too long, it's an open conversation. It's like, I think I'm starting to like you here. We should probably stop this now. Nice to meet you. Good luck. It's got to be that way. And it took me a lifetime to figure this out. So now that this is part of my life, well, you can imagine why I'm a happy fella.
Yeah, but you're being honest to not only other people, you're being honest to yourself. And when listen, I respect this conversation because nobody talks about this kind of stuff, and I actually love it. We took so many turns in this show that I'm in love with it. But that is important to hear. Like for women who are out there right now who are single, and men too. Like there are some people, they're single, they want a person right away, they want to be in a relationship. Okay? Say that. Go and find somebody who feels the same way. Do not dance around and try to pretend or play someone else's game. Like, okay, for example, if a woman was talking to you and she's like, okay, I like what you do. She really doesn't. She wants a relationship, but she thinks in the back of her mind, he'll like me. We'll keep going. No, if this person is telling you who they are, and this is a life and business message. If someone shows you or tells you who they are, believe them. Stop trying to change it. That's my message.
Beautiful message.
It's true. I absolutely, but I agree. I love it. I respect it, because if more men and women, it's both sides, could be upfront like that, not only would their dating life would be so much easier and more fun, they would inside also feel good. It wouldn't be so hard.
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard to be real. Here's what I got to say about that. This wise man once said a quote back 4 years ago. I believe his name was Marc Lalonde. Someone made like a GIF of it, and it went a little bit crazy. It takes practice to be you. And it's easy to get on the camera and not be yourself. It's actually the opposite of what people think. People think, well, what, just get on the camera and be yourself. I'm like, that's the hard part. It's easy to get on there and put on the performance.
Yeah.
Because if you look at my old videos, it was a performance. I had an agenda, I had a script, and now it's like, what the fuck's going on, everybody? What's up? It's like
right.
It took a while to get there. And in life, it's like that too. And with me, with money, it shed that away. And when I say money, I mean my source of income. If my source of income is based on relationships, which is not, we could dive into that later because I'm in network marketing, but I have not spoken to one person and I'm number one in the company.
Mm-hmm.
I'll repeat that. I have not spoken to one person with my voice and I'm number one in the company 1 month in. I'm going to be number one in the whole company within a matter of 3 months, multi-7-figure earner within a year, and I will not have met or shook a hand. So because my income is not tied to what people think of me, I can do that.
Mm-hmm.
But most people have to be very careful, because if your income, if you're consulting or coaching or providing a service, or that has changed for me. Let's be real here. I became a 7-figure earner by having people like me. Right now, all of the courses I've ever made are pretty well free. I give everything away because my income's not tied to it. So that allows me to be myself publicly. If my income was tied to people, what they thought of me, I would tone it down and I would be 80% myself. Make sense?
Mm-hmm. It does.
Not to sacrifice the money if it's coming through the people.
Yeah, no, I get it. And that's what everyone does. I mean, if you really look at what's happening, and I think there's so many courses, and it's really tough sometimes when you see people shooting out courses like, here's the money, here's the money, here's the money. And you can tell that the money, they are tied to the money. Okay. And so I'm all about giving back too. And that's the thing, is like, when you can do a free course and you can just be like, this is for you, man. Like, I don't need this. I'm just giving back what I can give back. That's the biggest, for me at least, that's the biggest blessing or value or whatever you want to say about it. But that's life. Like, that's where you want to be. Like, you're talking to a man, like, this is where you kind of want to be, right? Entrepreneurs, at least. Not everybody on here wants to do big business. That's okay.
You want to be like you. You're a businesswoman.
I'm business.
This is the first time we meet everybody, by the way.
Yeah, it is.
But you're a businesswoman. Like, you're the real deal. I could tell. I like
to hustle. I do. And but the thing is I also, I like freedom, and I don't always love to hustle. So here's the back side of this. Let's go into a raw side of me. I'm tired. Okay. Yeah. And when I say I'm not tired because of my network marketing business, that's separate. I'm not tired from that. I'm tired from life and where I got to. And again, this year was like the year of Shylo figuring herself out. Yeah. I stopped doing stupid shit that I don't need to do to make other people happy. Because I was doing it to make other people happy. I'm like, why am I doing this? I'm exhausted. I don't need to do this. I need to have a smile on my face because I'm going to be much better for my team. I need take breaks. I encourage people, I'm like, if you need to take Sundays off, take them off. I ain't working. I don't work Sundays. I'm like, if you call me, I'll pick up the phone. Because that's one thing about me. I will pick up anytime you call me. Like, that's my thing. And it's like, oh, you can call me anytime, though. Like, I don't have a schedule like that. Like, if you need me, you got me. But I just take breaks. You know, you're not doing this to sit behind a computer all damn day and do nothing. You've got Thursday night date nights, my friend.
They're only 1 hour long, though.
I know.
And then I'm back at my desk.
But you still take that break. That's your time. You do need to, like, people. The other thing was get a hobby. I was talking to someone one day and they're like, what do you do for fun? And this was, I don't know, it was last year. And I started crying. I'm like, I don't think I do anything. I just lost my joy. And I'm like, what the hell am I doing this for? You can't do this all dang day if there's no joy coming from it. So you need to find a hobby. You need to step back, even if it is an hour for a date night. That's awesome. And then go do your thing.
For me, here's a little something you may not know about me. I work 16 hours a day, 7 days a week, no days off. Like, I've been doing that for a very long time. No exceptions. The date night is literally to improve my performance at what I do.
Yeah.
So by stepping away, it releases a lot of whatever. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, it decompresses me. And then I can keep going. I am an absolute insane, obsessed animal. Like, this time here is the only time I will speak to another human being until June 1st. Literally. I don't take calls. I have no, I know. I don't know. I don't know. I just said yes. And it's not because I'm not important. It's because I have a goal. And I've had a goal for a while. And in the past 2 years, I'm so laser focused on a certain thing. I will be a billionaire, but in order to do that, I need a hell of a lot of millions. I'm working on that. I'm stacking those units, but I have to know how to work that. And this is absolute insanity what I'm doing right now. And I guess the reason I'm saying that is because I like what you're saying for people, but I can't relate with that. Do you know what I'm saying?
You can disagree with me. It's okay.
But that's for me as well, right? That's so individual to me. It's not everyone I meet, the ones that I do talk to online, they don't want my life. Nobody wants my life. Who would want my life? And I wouldn't have it any other way. Nobody wants my life that I've ever met. It's the only life that makes sense to me personally.
Right.
But I wake up, I work. I had to medically, by professional medical advice, cut my days down to 16 hours because those 2 extra hours, 16 hours doesn't feel like enough time for what I got to do. So I do 7 days a week. Yes, there's no day off. But when I go from 16 to 18, those 2 hours are enough. I went through a physical burnout, and it's just because of those 2 hours. So why am I saying there was, nobody, you don't want to be me. You wouldn't want to live my life. So I'm listening to you, and I think that applies to so many people, and I'm nodding my head, but it's just hard for me to relate on. You
don't have to agree with me. That's the one thing that's beautiful about you is that you're unapologetically you. And that's okay. Like, more people need to just say that stuff. No one has to agree with me all the time, even if you're on my show. It doesn't matter. That I don't want that. Like, here's the other thing. Now, we're going to go down a rabbit hole, but we got to cut it short because we only have so much time. But if everyone could get back to, we don't have to agree to like each other on every single thing, we would all be better people. I don't always agree. You know, when I like somebody, I don't go, we have to agree on every single issue, single thing, or it's never going to work. That won't happen. Yeah. There's nobody on the planet that's going to happen with. Agree to disagree. It's called having conversations, and it's also called debate, and it's healthy as long as we can have emotional intelligence and not react and act like crazy animals and just say, I don't agree with you, but that's okay. That's the answer. Because, and if you're offended, that's on you. It's not on me. I'm tough about that. Like, if you're offended,
you're tough.
What's offended?
You're a tough cookie.
Yeah, but if you're offended by something I say, I mean, unless I go after you, something personal. If I say something personal that I know is going to hurt you, That's me offending you on purpose. But if I say, like, let's say I swore and you didn't like it, and I didn't know you didn't like it, that's your problem. This is why I have this show. Because now I got to know Marc. We don't have a physical relationship. We have a social relationship.
Yeah.
Okay, Marc, we have to wrap up. But how can someone find you if someone just said, this guy's the guy? How do I get a hold of you? We're also going to post this, so don't worry. You don't have to go into everything. But how is the easiest way to get a hold of you if someone's listening, watching, going, I need to know right now?
Okay, this will be a first for you. I promise you that. There was probably a lot of firsts here.
There was a lot of firsts today, yes.
Okay, this will be a first too. I actually, don't contact me, please, anyone. I'm busy trying to make $1 billion. But you can be entertained by my content at thewealthytrainer.com.
Thank you so much for being on the show. And everyone, go watch him. Go check him out. His content is hilarious. He'll keep you laughing. He'll keep you smiling, and he'll keep you engaged. And that's really what it's all about in this crazy world of social media. Marc, thank you so much.